Once again, we are still waiting on confirmation that the recovery teams have made their way to the crew following their planned 9:13 p.m. Central Time landing. Are hearing that the weather in Kazakhstan might be a little bit more challenging. It's probably delaying that a bit, but we are standing by to pass that along as soon as we do hear reports that they're with the crew and beginning the recovery process. This is Mission Control Houston. We are still standing by for confirmation of the Soyuz MS-20 landing. All reports going into that were nominal, so no reason to suspect that anything is wrong. We are just waiting for the recovery crews to meet up with the Soyuz and its crew and begin removing them from the capsule. That will be the next step on their journey home. They've spent 12 days in space, 189 orbits, and traveled 4.6 million miles. So we are standing by to confirm their landing southeast of Jeskazgan in Kazakhstan. been about 15 minutes now since the scheduled 9:13 p.m. Central landing of the Soyuz MS-20. We're still waiting to hear from the recovery teams. They are with the crew and the Soyuz vehicle and ready to get them out of that spacecraft. Teams that descend on the landing site once the Soyuz does touch down include 8 Mi-8 helicopters. Additional helicopters go to the ballistic landing site, but that was not needed this time. In addition to those helicopters, 6 all-terrain vehicles and 3 Antonov airplanes that serve as flying command centers also deployed to the landing site. Team here on the ground did hear from those personnel that they had visuals of the Soyuz descending under parachutes, but because of the visibility issues with weather there at the landing site, did not see the actual touchdown, so they're working on getting to the Soyuz at this point, and we are standing by for confirmation that they are there with the crew. Again, it's been a little bit more than 15 minutes since that 9:13 p.m. Central landing, and we will keep you up to date as soon as we do get that confirmation from the teams on the ground. This is Mission Control Houston. We're still waiting to hear back from the recovery teams who are making their way out towards the Soyuz landing site, that they are there with the Soyuz crew. That landing was scheduled to take place at 9:13 p.m. Central Time. Teams on the recovery personnel did report that they saw parachutes deploy, and so all expectations are that everything is nominal with the landing. It's just taking a little bit of extra time for the recovery teams to get to the Soyuz and begin extracting the crew. Once again, we're still waiting for that confirmation, and we'll continue along with our coverage until we're able to pass it on. At that point, we'll be able to say that Alexander Misurkin, Yasuko Mizawa, and Yozo Hirano spent 12 days in space and completed 189 orbits of the Earth. Once the recovery crews are there with them and able to extract them from the Soyuz capsule, they'll be working to get them on planes to return home as quickly as possible after that. The landing sites for the Soyuz vehicles are pretty remote, and it sounds like visibility isn't great for that team today, so that's likely why it's taken a little bit longer than usual to get that confirmation that they are there with the Soyuz. Okay, and we are now receiving that the recovery crews are with the Soyuz. They arrived at 9:33 p.m. Central Time on site, the landing site, and the crew is feeling good. The scent module is vertical. May not get a final landing, exact landing time, but it was scheduled for 9:13 p.m. Central Time. And once again, we do have confirmation now that the recovery teams are with the Soyuz. It did land upright in its nominal position. There is possible for it to land on its side, and that's not a problem. But this will hopefully speed recovery efforts along a little bit. Again, the recovery crews and those Mi-8 helicopters and the all-terrain vehicles have made it to the Soyuz's landing site and should now be working on extracting the crew from their Soyuz vehicle. Again, wrapping up 12 days in space, 189 orbits, and 4.6 million miles that Alexander Misurkin, Saku Mizawa, and Yozo Hirano have traveled in the course of their flight. And let me repeat again that the recovery crews who have been making their way towards the Soyuz did arrive there about 5 minutes ago now, or 9:33 p.m. Central Time. And all reports are that the crew is in good shape. They should be able to begin extracting them from the Soyuz, which did land vertically. And then all the priorities will be to get the crew out of the Soyuz and on planes to return home. Once again, we do have confirmation that the recovery crews are with the Soyuz crew, Alexander Masurkin, Yasaku Mizawa, and Yozo Hirano, who have landed in Kazakhstan, southeast of Jezkazgan, after 12 days in space, 189 orbits, and 4.6 million miles. This is Masurkin's third trip to space, and he's landing today with a total of 346 days spent orbiting the Earth. For our two spaceflight participants, Yasaku Mizawa and Yozo Hirano, they have now completed their first space flights and can claim 12 days spent in space. With the crew on the ground and reported to be safe and in good health, all those vehicles that were pre-staged are now working, the personnel on them are now working to get the crew out of the Soyuz so that they can begin making their way home from the landing site. Crew will be able to change out of their launch and entry suits in a portable medical tent that will be set up near the capsule, and then Russian technicians will open the Soyuz hatches and help the crew members out of their spacecraft. They've been living in zero gravity for the past 12 days and will be feeling the effects of being back on the Earth's surface, so they may spend some time seated in special reclining chairs near the capsule for a few minutes. And then as soon as they're ready to go, they'll be helped into helicopters for a flight back to a staging site in Karaganda, Kazakhstan, before boarding planes home. Haven't been able to receive any video from the landing site yet, but once again, we did receive confirmation that the crew had landed. The recovery crew members and personnel were with them at the landing site now and working to get them out of the Soyuz, and that all are in good health after 12 days spent in space. Landing came around 9:13 p.m. Central Time. That was the scheduled landing time. Without the video confirmation, and it'll be difficult to get an exact touchdown time, but expect that it was right around schedule, which again was 9:13 p.m. For those who are still with us, we are still waiting to see if there's any chance that we'll get video. We may not get any video of the crew this time around. It sounds like the weather conditions in Kazakhstan aren't ideal, but we do have again confirmation that the crew landed safely right around 9:13 p.m. We won't have an exact landing time since we didn't get to observe it on the video, but expect that it was right around the planned time of 9:13 p.m. Central Time. And that wrapped up a 12-day mission to the International Space Station and back for Alexander Misurkin, Yusaku Mizawa, and Yozo Hirano. We expect the recovery teams with them now are working to get them out of the Soyuz capsule, and then we'll be helping them out of their launch and entry Sokol suits so that they can get on helicopters and begin the next leg of their journey home.
I'll stop here, or we have to take a look.
And you're seeing here finally some video from the landing site in Kazakhstan, that's southeast of Zhezkazgan, Kazakhstan, of the Soyuz MS-20 vehicle landed upright.
Yes, that's right. Ivanov, get that inflatable thing. Inaudible, tell them to come over here. of the small bags. So they were all over there in a kit. Everything is okay.
Кабеля не хватает.
This again is live video that we're seeing from the landing site southeast of Jezkazgan, Kazakhstan, where the Soyuz MS-20 touched down upright about 9:13 p.m. Central Time with Alexander Misurkin, Yosaku Mizawa, and Yozo Hirano on board. These are the all-terrain vehicles that we had been mentioning were making their way to the landing site, ready to help the crew get out of the Soyuz capsule and begin the next leg of their journey home.
Well, they are going to change and then stand by, be ready. They're all on alert. Everybody's on alert. Yes, sir. Once they change out of into the new clothes, they will be fine out here. I told him that, and they are just getting some video shots from over here. Once they change, they will come out. We copy. Misurkin will be coming out first, probably.
Misurkin, 95 давление.
Misurkin.
Давление 123,75.
The heart rate is 95, the blood pressure is normal, and the saturation 97. So we are going to work with the crew, take a little break. Yes, I copy. Inaudible. Oh, let's do it the normal way, like we always do. Everything should be fine. And then we'll be able to go back. We'll take a few shots of the descending module, if you can. Here, take a look.
Once again, this is live video coming from Kazakhstan.
Once they're set out.
The Soyuz just out of view here between these two all-terrain vehicles, and we did just receive confirmation that all three crew members have been extracted from the Soyuz vehicle. It sounds like they may be getting out of their Sokol space suits and into more comfortable clothing for the next leg of their journey home. They'll be getting on helicopters that will take them to an airport in Karaganda, where they'll board planes for the next leg. But again, all 3 crew members, we are hearing reports now that they are all out of the Soyuz spacecraft and getting changed out of their spacesuits.
Are they ready yet? We need to talk to one specific person, Mr. Kravchenko.
Алло, Сергей?
And that's a phone conversation that's not very audible.
По силусу, П перекиси 1, это 3,0, перекись 2, 2,1. Сливать не надо, да? Кого дать? П перекиси 1, 3,0, по силусу, П перекиси 3,0.
This is the parameters for
3,0.
certain data.
Перекись 2, 2.1.
Peroxide 1 and some inaudible data.
Getting just a glimpse of the crew members who, once again, we are told have been working to get out of their spacesuits.
Here, pull that up.
We're seeing here now some video that was replayed, shot earlier of the crew being extracted from the Soyuz. That looks like Alexander Masurkin there, the commander of the Soyuz capsule, and Roscosmos cosmonaut. He again is wrapping up now his 3rd space flight. He, with the addition of the 12 days spent in space for this mission, now has 346 days in space in his career.
Be careful.
Once again, this is video being replayed from earlier. Crew has since been confirmed to all have been extracted from the Soyuz. We saw live video earlier with 2 of these vehicles surrounding the Soyuz. So this is a replay that we're seeing of their extraction. Soyuz touchdown around 9:13 p.m. Central Time, southeast of Jetsusgan. There's a 2nd crew member coming out. That looks like Yasaku Mazewa, being extracted from the Soyuz following his 1st space flight. 12 days in space now for him, a spaceflight participant and board engineer 1 for this trip. There's that 2nd vehicle that we that we saw earlier now pulling up.
And you have to move over there. Dima Ivanov, you copy? I'm here. How's Miyazawa? He's doing fine. They're all fine, yes. Over here? Yes, that's over here. If you can see from over here. Let's also get some clothes from the other.
And there is our third crew member, Yozo Hirano, being extracted from the Soyuz in this replay of video that was shot just a few minutes ago. Instead of the usual reclining chairs that we see at the Soyuz landing sites, looks like the crew members are being taken directly into these vehicles, and we did hear that they were changing out of their so-called spacesuits now, getting ready for the next leg of their journey home.
Let's get the clothes. The clothes are in the other vehicle. We need to get the sets of clothes for them to change into. Here, a few minutes. That we need to put away. If you can hold this one, then we'll probably get the sound from the other one.
Now that we've finally gotten that video that shows us all three crew members in good health and safely landed in Kazakhstan, we're going to be wrapping up our coverage for the night. Just to go over the stats again, the Soyuz MS-20 crew spent a total of 12 days in space, 12 days on the space station, and during that time made 189 orbits, traveling 4.6 million miles. Led by Soyuz Commander Alexander Masurkin, who was making his third trip to space. He is wrapping up this trip with 346 days spent in space. And then our spaceflight participants Yozo Hirano and Yusuke Mizawa, who, of course, are finishing their first space flight and have now a total of 12 days in space. Since we're able to get that video showing them being extracted from the Soyuz safely and getting ready to begin the next leg of their journey home, we're going to again wrap up our coverage now. Following that landing time around 9:13 p.m. Central Time or 9:13 a.m. in Kazakhstan. Coming up at 3:30 a.m. Central, you can see a recap of all of these activities in the NASA TV video file. And then you'll want to be sure and tune back in Tuesday morning at 3:45 a.m. Central for the launch of the SpaceX CRS-24 cargo craft to the International Space Station. It should then be docking on Wednesday at 3:30 a.m. Central, and you can see it all here on NASA TV. Thanks for watching. This is Mission Control Houston.